Hello, and welcome to another Heroes of the Storm quick tip. Today I want to talk about Diablo and how to improve your play on the character. I've linked a guide I've written in the description of the video, so I highly recommend you check it out. It's very hard to explain what I'm thinking and what I'm looking for in Diablo plays like in the moment, so it's hard to really cover the full width of how to play the character. And so I think in written form you can get a much better idea of like what my thought process is and what I'm looking for in these things. I want to go over one specific play. Before that, a little context. I play in Nexus Gaming Series. It's a coordinated Heroes of the Storm league. So all these are 5 stacks. The division I play in is Division A. I play for a team called Gilly Shark. I'm 24-5 on Diablo in coordinated play. And the general skill level I play against is Diamond to Masters. So we're not quite, say, CCL level, but basically just the step below that. So to explain what I'm looking for here, in this case, we're getting pushed in and our team is split. Obviously, I'm not going to try and engage upon them. You can see up here I've gone the fire build. So what that means is I can poke pretty handily from a distance without having to commit yet. So when you see this as a 5, what are you looking for here? Well, number one, I'm looking at where my teammates are and how close they are to rotating, because that will determine whether or not I can take an engage at all. The second thing I'm looking at is who is in engage range. I'm safe back here, basically. Zergy is a little far out, but it would be very aggressive of ETC to step up here. So what I'm mostly doing, I'm keeping an eye on Gazlo and ETC, because if ETC slides in, we know he has Mosh Pit, and additionally, just even sliding and booping Zergy back, if they want to collapse, this is a good place to do it. Now, thankfully, our teammates are coming from here, so this isn't as risk-free as they may believe, but as they don't even see them. So they don't necessarily know they're coming from there. For all they know, they're coming safe side, and they're going over here. So you get the idea. So I'm going to show you what happens. So Zergy steps up, and Chest Clue on ETC goes in. And you can see the rest of their team is a little further back. They're not quite in position to follow up instantly. Our teammates are also about here. So I see the Mosh. I instantly hit it. And the reason I hit that is because, for exactly this, because of how they've picked their ults, it's highly likely they're going to try and set up some kind of combo. And if I knock him out of Mosh here, instead of us just turning on him, what we do is not only do we lock him in place while he's drawing forward aggro, but we give our offlaner a chance to cleanse his way out if necessary. Now, the Gravo Bomb still clicks him, which is unfortunate. But for most follow-ups, he actually gets out without an issue. The other thing is, you can see here how quickly that life is dropping. And our 2 other players are not attacking him. This is just from forward aggro. The healer, the offlaner's barely even done. They autoed him twice, I think, and my own damage. I burst cleanse, so that way I can make sure I get lightning breath off, which I do just in time to get, I dodge Light Bomb, and I make sure the ETC dies. What I'm also going to be able to do is rotate and slow either Gazlo or KT, and make sure they can't get out because of the slowing effect. Although, you can see KT's already rooted, so if he doesn't cleanse, he's almost certainly dead. And you see he does. But yeah, I'm not looking for a major engage here. I'm not looking to push up into the enemy squad. I'm just looking to punish any overextensions they make. And something a lot of players, Diablo players especially, what they like to do is they like to keep sharking around instead of looking for a counter engage. And what you want to do, especially in situations where you're potentially outnumbered, or you need to buy a little time for your team to fully get in position, you want to wait for your opponents and then see if you can react. Even had our 2 teammates not come, it was highly likely that worst case we were trading in that scenario due to the forward aggro. And then had they come, say, a few seconds later, we still would have been able to fight them here and just it would have been a clean 4v4 most likely. Instead, what happens is we end up getting 3 kills and then 4th. And we save our fort. But had I overreacted and I saw and I went in earlier, I probably die for free, or I lose all my HP and walk away, and they like let me go to just push fort, and I have to hearth. So just something to consider. The 3 biggest tips I can give you in a short period of time is, number 1, think about why you're engaging and take your time to look at and engage, like why it's good. Sometimes you'll have to make a split-second decision whether or not to go for a stun because it's going to be a wall bang, and if you think about it, well, they're just going to rotate out. They're no longer in position to get hit. But in these kind of scenarios, you really want to think about what you're doing and whether or not you even want to engage. Number 2 is, you saw I didn't insta-flip, and that's because I wanted to just trap him in here with body blocks. Also, I wanted to keep open my unstoppable if necessary. And finally, you want to take advantage of your talent tree. I could have gone a bursty Q build, but instead I went with a far more survivable build. And had I gone Soul Shield, it would have been even better against their kind of wombo, what they wanted to set up. But since I'm not 100% on it, I find Feast on Fears a little more consistent for me at this point, even with Flame build. And so what this does is this allows me to like consistently engage at range. And if I see one of the DPS out of position, I can go in on them. And I can, but otherwise, I can just save Shadow Charge to counter engage whenever ETC goes in. So if ETC ever steps up too far or does what he did there, he takes an engage and we need to interrupt, well, I can always have charge available to do that. And that's one of the best things you can do as Diablo when you're not diving. Obviously, in an ideal world, you want to dive, especially with Tyrande in this case, because you have a guaranteed follow-up. But even if you don't, you still have very good options. So look into using those. Again, I've linked the guide in the description below. I highly recommend you read it if you want to improve your Diablo play. And I hope you have a great day.